Hi guys, today I want to talk about my two Polaris jet skis I have here. I'm doing a jet pump rebuild on the Genesis, the 4-seater I have. This is a 3-seater 1200cc Virage, and the jet pump in there actually has an extension housing that acts as a wear ring, so the impeller doesn't spin inside the pump base. It spins inside this guy back here, and it's an all stainless steel unit. And I've never had a problem with this ski in almost 20 years. I've rebuilt the jet pump before, but I've never had a problem with the impeller binding up on the wear ring. Now the design on this 1200cc Genesis is a little different. The pump base that goes in there actually acts as the wear ring as well. So the whole jet pump housing isn't as long as this. There's no extension on it. It's quite a bit shorter. It sits somewhere up in this area. The problem with this one is the sleeve insert. It's either aluminum or stainless steel that they put in the base pump. I mean the pump base. That corrodes between the aluminum and the sleeve, and then it bubbles out and it jams the impeller. So when I say jam the impeller, I mean so jammed that you're gonna think your engine's locked up, because it will not turn. And I've rebuilt this before. This will be the third time on this silly ski, because the base pump always, the pump base always corrodes and jams the impeller. And in roughly 20 years, 3 times. This one, not once. Not once has that happened. Much better design. Now, let me walk you over here. There's my ride plate. I took that off just for ease of access. So this is the order that the jet pump sits in. All right, so the nozzle, the directional nozzle goes on the end there. You have the stator, which has the vanes in it that kind of spin the water to help propel it. The impeller, drive shaft, and then the pump base. So there's 2 pump bases here. This is the brand new one I got. Well, not brand new, but new to me anyway. It's used. That goes onto the end of that. And the other side of this right here is the hull, the ski. So this is my old one. Let me show you where my problem was. This had corroded so much, it had locked the impeller where I couldn't even pull the impeller and drive shaft out. So I had to grind through. I had to cut all the way through with the grinder just to relieve the tension. So this would split open, relieve the tension on it, and I could actually get my impeller out. Now the corrosion that happens is between this sleeve and the aluminum base. So it bubbles up, and in this case, this instance, this had bubbled up so much it had completely locked this impeller, so where I couldn't even pull it out. I tied the trailer to a tree and yanked it with my truck, and it still wouldn't pull out. That's how strong it was. So that's why I had to actually cut open the base to split it. But that corrosion is pretty bad. It's a pretty terrible design by Polaris. Oh, let's see. See this? That's the sleeve. Now, I can't tell if this is aluminum or stainless because the magnet doesn't stick to either one. But there's no telling what you have really. Polaris sent some out with stainless inserts, some out with aluminum inserts, and unless you get in there and investigate, it's the only way you're going to find out. So I got this new one. So this pump base, it is not off a Genesis. This is off, the ski I have is a 2000 Genesis or a 99 Genesis. This one is a 94, 95, or 96 SL. And if you find this pump base on eBay, they're all roughly between 30, 45 bucks. You can get them for a dime. I mean, a dime a dozen. They're all over the place. If you try to look one up for a Polaris, you'll get some high-priced items. Each one was over 100 bucks that I found. But what you do is you get one of these 94, 95 SLs, and all the bolt holes lined up. I unscrewed the shaft, the studs, the stainless studs that go in here, and I transferred them over. That's not so hard. You put two nuts together, jam them together, and then the thing will spin out pretty easily. Transfer the O-rings, transfer the water pipe. Other than that, it's going to be an identical plug and play. This sleeve in here, the seller told me it was stainless. Again, I don't know. It could be aluminum. I don't know how to tell. But as you can see, it's nice and smooth. There's no corrosion in here. There's no bubbling. There's no penetration between this sleeve and this aluminum. So we'll see how long this one lasts. I'm down here in Florida, so I'm strictly, all I do is saltwater ride. That's everything. That's my whole life is saltwater, saltwater, saltwater. But this wear ring has such a tight tolerance coming over the impeller that any little bubble will jam this up. And if it's really bubble like mine, you won't even be able to pull this out. You'll have to remove the base and the jet pump all as one unit and then slide the whole thing out. There won't be any like normal pump rebuild where you leave this on the ski and you pull this out separately to do the bearings in here. No, you'll have to take the whole thing out and get a new one if it's bound up that bad. Which, like I said, this is the third wear ring on this Genesis. It's a pain in the butt. But I'm gonna put this in, and I should be skiing again this weekend. There's the two skis. Thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully I taught you guys something.